Okay, welcome. I'm Sarah West Love. Hi. Welcome to my channel on Instagram, Sarah West Love, and YouTube, Sarah West Love. All one word, no dots or spaces or underscores, just Sarah with an H. Do you like it with the light or no light? Well, maybe we'll do it that way. It just seems to want to be. Keep hitting the little touch doodad. So I think what I want to say in this second part, this is episode 43. It's a continuation of 42, which I just finished, so please watch that. And, you know, if you have the patience to be patient, you know, this isn't about some perfect video. This isn't about some slick editing, obviously. This is just me. Just me being me. Just real time, live, no Memorex. No Memorex. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what it was like to be no Memorex? You know? Can you imagine what it's like to live somewhere where there's just life? There's just love. There's just goodness around you. Community, care, love, support, encouragement, social enjoyment, dancing, singing, working together. You don't call it work, it's just things that create life. Tilling the fields, gathering water. Hey, just talking about imagining what it's like to be free instead of chained, instead of brainwashed, instead of, do we realize that we're in a cage? Do you have an inkling? People, if there's depression, sort of mild anger, maybe a lot of anger, frustration, what is the cause? What's the source of it? Do you have a sense of a longing, of value? Do you have a sense of valuing your freedom? And I don't mean freedom as in accumulation and things and consumerism and things that we're trained to obsess over. Am I good enough? Will I belong to society, to this group or that group if I have this or that, or am that, or look like that, or speak that way? Whatever that is. I'm talking about, do you have a sense of what it feels like for your heart to soar? To soar. What is it? Do you remember? Did you ever feel that? Maybe you feel it all the time. Maybe you want to feel it, but you feel that you don't have the luxury. You're tied down. Children, spouse, obligations, bills, paperwork, filing, obligations. What is all that? Who created all that? So we have a system that we have to pay into that's supposed to protect us and supposed to make our lives easier. Roads, pay for roads and schools and libraries, where really the money's going to wars that don't benefit us, wars that benefit these elite people and all their little war games and trying to get just resources from other countries. You know, the oil, the minerals that make our cell phones, our technology. You know, I just posted a video where a veteran said they were just considered bodies, boots on the ground. Boots? A human being is a boot? Boots on the ground? We need more boots on the ground, more bodies. And that they were just literally encouraged to rape and just kill anybody. So that's what our tax money is going toward. And there are people that are against all of that, but what can you really do? What can any of us really do? Well, we have to decide first. And the people that are creating, the tyrants that are creating, and then all of us that are participating, because we are, you know, we've made a deal with the devil through the comforts and through the just sort of giving our power away, letting other people make decisions for us, which I could go into, but I'm not right now. I want you to think about it, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe it's inconvenient truths. How are we culpable to the situation? You know, how are we funneling our own life force, our own to enable such cruelty in the world? Do we care? Do we only care when it affects us, or do we care when it affects anyone? There are simple answers as to what to do. And those answers that we can do individually and together as communities and families. And then also, you know, getting together as a community. You know, sit together, make decisions together as a family, as community. Don't think about what you've been taught. Don't think about what you've been conditioned. We don't have time for that. We don't have time to be fodder and to fight wars and lose fight little battles and lose the big war. We don't have time to be bystanders, be on the sidelines, and we don't have time to be left and right in all of this. That's the tool of the tyrants, is to create division and exhaust people with fighting very important battles of survival. Put people in survival mode and disconnect people from themselves and their soul and their spirit. And then each other, to forget their humanity. They want people to forget their heart. They want people to take each other out, okay? That's what they want. They want people to destroy themselves out of just sheer frustration. Those people that aren't strong enough to withstand the pain and move through it, and who can't do it alone and can't do it without the codependencies that they've co-opted to cope. And the compliant ones just calling together the compliant ones and the complicit ones, the obedient ones. Who are you obedient to? Who? Why? You're driven by fear? Fear of what? What's more important than your freedom? Your life or freedom? The quality of your life? Bought into fear. It's brainwashing of fear. It's just such an old technique. It's not original. Nothing that they do is original. But if you don't know, then you could be tricked. I just feel sad. So many people are suffering. And I feel sad for the brainwashed tyrants who are driven and they don't know how to get off the train. They don't know how to stop the train that they're on, being part of a totalitarian, tyrannical, mafiosa group of people. My heart literally goes out to them as well, because they were so deeply wounded and so deeply, we know, the techniques that these tyrants use to abuse people, to cultivate this loyalty among tyrants. They are literally electrocuted. They are literally just raped as children. They're trained to just do horrible things. And They can't get out of it, and the brain just begins to live on that and live on the enjoyment of destroying people. And my heart goes out because their innocence has been, they take other people's innocence, but they've been cultivated just generation after generation after generation. For thousands of years, this has been going on. Sexual abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Anyway, until we're aware, I have to add power to this other device. I'm sharing power here. Sharing power, right? I have to learn how to share power. That's a good message with these two devices. That I'm having these little technical things going on, and that is an important message. Sharing power. I said last night or the other day on one of my lives, I said the myth of power. There are these people that just literally are driven to have power over people. They're driven to abuse at all costs. They don't have empathy. They don't have a conscience. They literally they're so damaged. And so what do we do? What do we do now? Because we're in a situation where those people run our world. And the light goes on. Hey, that's a fact. The light went on. They run our world, and they're untouchable because they're so disconnected from reality. They're all in their little protected enclaves amongst each other, and then it trickles down. This is the only thing that's trickled down. There's no trickle down economics. It's a trickle down oppression. This is what it is. Let's get real. Let's just say the truth. And those politicians, they will never, ever, ever tell the truth. They can't. They can't. 2 reasons. 1, they'll die. They cannot tell the truth. They'll be killed. Martin Luther King, JFK, Joan of Arc, Jesus, if you believe in that person, Malcolm X. And who knows, millions of people that we don't even know their names. Activists, thousands of activists have been murdered. Just people trying to help all over the world. I mean, this is, for people that don't know. So how do we, and then the politicians all the way down to the local levels, well, they can't do anything either. I mean, maybe some do a little bit. I mean, even, and then some, and then how aware are they? The ones that do fight for rights and do fight, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's this icon, right? Well, she did a lot of amazing things. She passed the law, helped pass the law, and stood up for women to be able to sign their own mortgage and not have a man co-sign. She helped women be able to have their own bank accounts. Can you imagine? Can you imagine not being able to have your own bank account? Well, we're getting, what's happening now, if you don't know, we're on the precipice of all freedoms being taken away. It's insane. And it's already happening in some countries. But she did not stand up for First Nations people. She signed some things that took their rights away, and you can read about it and look it up. But so here we are on this planet, spinning in space. How many stars? How many planets? Billions of stars. Infinite amount of space. It's incomprehensible. Where do we go when we die? Where did we come from? What is going on? Where did it begin? Where does it end? We have all these planets. Here we are. Go past our galaxy, the next galaxy, the next galaxy. Galaxy. Where's the last galaxy? And then what's after that? What's after that? How did all of this begin? How did it begin? And here we are, brainwashed to drive our cars, work for other people, be unhappy, struggle to pay rent, struggle to eat, struggle to, and not even parent our own children. But we're, they're like cattle going off to somebody else's farm to be like inoculated with what? Many of them are abused sexually, physically, just terrorized at school and by other children who aren't parented, don't feel loved, aren't nurtured, aren't bonded with their parents. Anyway. This is what I wanted to share with you tonight. And all the time. If you're still here, again, as I said in the other video, the part 1, episode 42, I think this is episode 43, is, can you bear even just being with me, just sharing, listening to yourself? What's the rush? Is there a rush? Can you just sit and just enjoy this unedited, live, and perfect? Now, of course, it might be boring to you, or what is boring? Why? Can you just sit and be? Like, what if we were just on a porch together, rocking in a rocking chair, and we made lemonade and lemon tea inside in the kitchen, and then we brought it out together and we're just sitting rocking on the chair? What if I had all white hair and I was in what you would consider an elder? And the elders speaking, or your mother's speaking, or your father's speaking, or maybe your child. What if we listen to the children? What if we just let them talk? Just ramble. Just go on and on about whatever the children want to talk about. in and out, different aspects, you know, the playful side, and we're going to share power again. Isn't that funny? Shared power. Do we have the wisdom? 8% over there. 5% over here. It's a little shuffle situation. Come on. Shuffling. Shared power. A little bit of a theme going on. Amazing how what's up, whatever's up, it has meaning. I mean, there couldn't be a more apropos 2 words of what this whole situation that's going on, the crux of the situation. It's the problem, the opportunity. Do people know how to share power? Power meaning leadership. Power meaning shared power, shared resources, share water, share earth, share air, share land, food, share to bring life. We need power for the phone in order to be alive, in order for me to speak to you, in order for me to see and read and learn and grow and teach and play and, you know, enjoy. Or maybe cry. Maybe there's something beautiful that will touch my heart. Maybe I can touch your heart and help you let go and have a catharsis and feel. It's just like, where's our heart? Where's our vulnerability? Where's our willingness to risk, you know, with a stranger and with those who aren't strangers at all, the people right next to us, you know? Where's our willingness to love and to be imperfect and to be scared and to be angry? Oh my God, we're just so shut down. We're we're so afraid and conditioned to not feel our feelings. I'm just gonna tell you flat out, this is what I do when I help people in my coaching work. We're just so conditioned to just dim the fuck down. Just to shut down and cope. This is just not living. It's toxic. The ramifications are horrendous, and it's exponentializingly horrendous. And if we don't help each other, it's like, what happened to helping each other? What happened? Where did that go? And some of you know how to do that. You know, some of us, some of you, sometimes we know how to reach out across the aisle, across the dining room table, across to whoever's nearby, next to us, and within. Reach out, reach into ourselves. To reach in. To reach in. If we haven't reached in, we can't reach out. See? We can't reach out if we haven't reached in. And maybe the compulsion, the desire to reach out will teach us how to reach in. It can work both ways. You know, if we want to make a connection with somebody else, and we're uncomfortable and we don't know how to do it and we make mistakes and we mess up and we ruin something or it just doesn't turn out how we like, well, that brings us back to grow. It calls us to figure out how to improve ourselves, right? That's why people go to self-help. because they want to improve relationship, because they're losing the relationship, or they want to be successful in a job or have confidence in a career. And so the journey unfolds, begins. The revolution, the circle, the cycle of growth, of learning. You know, it's heartbreaking that we've come to this point, thousands of years, how many generations of just brainwashing, propaganda, excruciating agony. I mean, you think that, you know, those of us who have European DNA, for instance, or maybe Asian DNA, or maybe wherever, can you imagine witnessing an execution by a beheading? I hate to say it. I'm sorry to say it. Sorry to bring it up. But people that were hung, burned at the stake, women, people. That's in our DNA. We remember, we're afraid. Some people aren't. Some people are just courageous. And they're not. It's fascinating. Some people are just, they're fighters. They're, you know, heroes in the world. And they don't. And then others, you know, collapse. Others cowardice, lack of heart. Well, is it lack of heart or just freaking sheer memory? Just conditioning to, I mean, school teaches us to sit on our hands, obey, be obedient. Some of us were hit. Some of us were ostracized, sit in the corner, ashamed, humiliated. How many of you were humiliated growing up? All of this informs, you know? It's like the tyrant was also the victim at one point. Some tyrants are, you know, still victims at the same time. And some are just, you know, and then some people are more just more the victims. You know, what